Day 16 of the lockdown.
क्या से क्या हो गया?
What the hell happened yesterday evening?
China virus, go back!
Go back, go back!
Nonsense!
Have you guys forgotten that?
We are all together in Corona.
हिंदी में बोलता हूँ, प्लीज घर से मत निकलिए, प्लीज झुंड में मत घूमिए, प्लीज मोर्चे मत निकालिए और प्लीज किसी भी वस्तु को आग से ना जलाएं।
Protect yourself.
जमाना कहे फिर क्यों?
जिंदगी में जिस काम को करने से सबसे ज्यादा डर लगे उसे जरूर करना चाहिए। डर खत्म हो जाता है।
That's unrelated.
There's a time and place for everything, and that's why it's important for you to have your priorities about you right now. And of course, this is not meant to be a political commentary, and these videos are meant to be more so excavation of the psychological processes that we are going through and that are distressing us. So today I'm going to talk about a topic which I think is very interesting, and I'm going to try to keep it short because I realized yesterday's video was a little bit long.
All right. Cool.
Jared, today's topic is about family squabbles, feuds, disputes, misunderstandings, and irritability during the lockdown. See, a lot of y'all might be living in houses shared with other people. This could be your spouse, that could be your parents, your siblings, your housemate, your best friend, anyone who you're sharing your living space with. Now that you are constantly in each other's faces, there's a chance that it might get a little bit grating, a little bit monotonous. You know, these little things, small things that you could escape before because you had a life outside the house, you can't escape them anymore. That's leading to you feeling cooped up and constantly under scrutiny, or constantly annoyed, or constantly getting on each other's nerves. That is what I'm going to be specifically talking about today. Sometimes when people enter our space, all you want to say to them is,
Go away!
Shut up.
You think I'm fucking with you?
now it's perfectly natural for tempers to rise in a situation, especially in a situation where monotony sets in, where there is a certain degree of predictability to now how you will spend your days or how they will spend their days.
It's a bad joke.
All human beings are novelty-seeking little monsters. As my English teacher used to say to me, we're always looking for something new, we're always looking for something interesting, we're always looking for something that grabs our attention, we're always looking for something that challenges us but at the same time excites us, that draws us in completely. And given the limited options of venturing outside, it's difficult to find these things.
Huh? तो ठीक है.
Now, I'd like to take a moment here and make a point, especially for those of y'all who are grown adults and still live with your parents, all right? And I mean absolutely no offense for those of you, because I understand that there are practical difficulties with making the rent in an expensive city like Mumbai. It's not cheap to live on your own, and definitely the cost of living has become higher, and that becomes a more acute problem in these times where we can't even go to our office, make money, and we're all locked up. What's going on in the mind of a parent?
We'll never know. What are you talking about?
A lot of y'all who live with your parents hold your parents to very high standards. These are standards that have either been taught to you or standards that you have come to expect from them based on previous records. But what you do forget is that your parents are primarily human beings first. Human beings with flaws, limitations, bad habits, and also annoying habits. And the fact is that there is no way to qualify a person as ready to become a parent. So a lot of people become parents more as a result of the fact that they were married and that was expected of them, rather than the fact that they were emotionally prepared for it. And then, as they say, they kind of roll with the punches. Now, I'm not saying your parents are like that, but do understand that your parents are flawed, your parents are limited, your parents are individuals first, because parenting is a role. It's a chosen identity, and not everyone has to ace that role, given the fact that we live in very, very nuanced societies where different people have to do different things at different times and become different things at different times. So yes, if you're squabbling with your parents, know that it was their job to give you a certain kind of emotional, social, psychological, behavioral structure for X number of years in your life. But now that you're grown up, you must wean off this dependency on them. That doesn't mean you don't care for them, that doesn't mean you don't love them, that doesn't mean you don't help them, but that also means that you don't imprison them in this little cage, and the cage is one that you have created. This is a cage of perfection, and you expect that from your parents, and you expect your parents to be your friends, which is another mistake that a lot of people do. They expect their parents to understand them completely as their friends would, but that just doesn't happen in any society, because let's not forget, your parents are the products of a different time period, a different type of conditioning, a different way in which society used to function. So the values that they bring might seem archaic to you. Your parents don't understand 342 rupee coffees at Starbucks. They may not understand how you can endlessly play video games for hours at an end, because a lot of these things did not exist when they were growing up. So cut your parents some slack, and make sure that you pay attention to the pursuits that give you happiness, even if they don't necessarily meet with their approval, since you are now constantly under their eye, under their scrutiny, and being appraised by them based on their standards. Remember, your standards are yours, and therefore it is your job to guard them.
बात तो इंटरेस्टिंग है.
See, don't worry so much about who's right or wrong. Ask yourself instead what's working for you and what's not working for you. Now, if you are a part of a larger family or a larger commune or a larger group that is, under the same roof, of course, there will be certain shared rules that everyone has to adhere to, and you must play your part in contributing, but also understand that not everyone is living inside your mind. Therefore, they don't know what's going on inside your mind, what your mood is, how prepared are you to have a conversation or not have a conversation, how much digging is too much digging. They're not expected to know. They probably will never know. If you have a parent who understands you, if you have a roommate, a flatmate, a spouse who understands you, then that's a bonus, but often that's not a given in life. So manage your expectations, and you'll find a lot more peace through this period, rather than expecting everyone to adjust and realign their lives to match your expectations, because that's just not how it works. Sometimes when we are riled up, people in front of us, living with us, might be making a very valid, very salient point, but to us it just sounds like and that's okay. It means you're tired, it means you're not in the mood, it means that you're not prepared for an onslaught of information. So you may be feeling,
I'm not the trouble.
when you have an emotion about an emotion, we call that a meta disturbance in psychology. So for example, if you're feeling angry with your mom for being such a nag, for not understanding you, for nagging you, or you feel upset with your dad for being inconsiderate or saying something sarcastic or ignoring you or not being up to date with something that's very important to you, then you might suddenly have an emotion about that. So you feel guilt about your anger, or you feel anger about your guilt. You could feel these emotions very strongly. So that's why I say it's important for you to cut yourself and cut them some slack. They didn't go to parenting college. So yes, you will lose your impatience with the outside situation. But if you find yourself losing your patience with the situation at home, with people you're living with, it's always good to ask for a time out and do something that quickly changes your mood, quickly changes the space from which you are operating, and the space from which you wish to interact with the person concerned.
शॉर्टकट में एक बात बोलूं?
Live and let live.
क्या बकवास कर रहा है यार? बोल रहा हूँ.
The situation's not perfect, your family's not perfect, you are not perfect, even the efforts perhaps being made by the government are not perfect. So instead of pursuing perfection, pursue purpose, and you will find a lot more pleasure rather than locking horns with people you're living with on mundane things, on what they should be doing or how you should be allowed to do what you want. Hey man, of course you're allowed to do what you want. Self-determination is one of your fundamental freedoms. Even if you feel that is being taken away from you and you can't go out and a lot of other things are being curtailed, know that you are free to choose, free to roam in the world of your mind rather than the world outside. Please, please, please don't leave. We can't change the way the world thinks and functions, but we can choose our response to it.
Huh?
Please stay at home, even though I know a lot of y'all currently feel like... Please.
Control, yaar.
Blessed be those who sit and wait.
Stay at home. And
कुछ नहीं होगा तुमको.
You got nothing to lose.
there's absolutely no version of events where every member of every family is in complete agreement with each other on values, on how to spend time, on how to spend money, on what to do with one's life, on what kind of company one should keep, what kind of hobbies one should find fulfillment in. These are things that people, not just in the same house, but even in the same age group, need not necessarily agree upon, because all human beings are different, and it is in understanding these differences. You may not celebrate them, but you need to understand and appreciate these differences. It is only in understanding that you can prevent a lot of conflict, a lot of heartburn, a lot of frustration from entering your little world, which you need to create, and that is out here. Prime real estate.
Let's not forget that we are all together in Karuna.